Have you changed anything in the wake of the federal Solyndra investigation? And do you have any concerns about an inquiry into government loans and contracts? Will Tesla's DOE loan application stand up under such scrutiny?
Yeah, I mean, so in the case of Solyndra, you know, Solyndra has obviously become somewhat of a political football here. Speaking of political footballs earlier, you know, the DOE programs, they're necessarily our portfolio of programs where some number of the things that are funded there are going to fail. That should be assumed. You should not assume that a 100% success. And in the case of Solyndra, people forget that private investors lost twice as much as the government did. So it's not, and there were some really first-rate venture capitalists in Solyndra. It's not as though these were suckers. So if you've got first-rate venture capitalists who've lost twice as much money as the federal government, you have to say, okay, you know, I mean, it was a bet. The bet didn't work, but that doesn't mean it's, you know, it's something really terrible happened. I mean, the most you could say is that Solyndra executives were too optimistic. You know, they presented a better face to the situation than should have been presented in the final few months. But then, if they didn't do that, it would have become a self-fulfilling prophecy of you know, as soon as the chief CEO says, "I'm not sure whether we'll survive," you're dead. So, you know, I think people are making too much of the Solyndra thing. And I mean, and do I think there are parallels with Tesla? I mean, we got a loan from the DOE from a different program, I should point out. But in our case, we have significant capital reserves, and we have more money at Tesla than we need to complete the program in question. And we don't face the same issue that Solyndra faced, which is extreme competition from China on a commodity product that drove the cost per watt of solar panels from $4 a watt down to $1. That's the fundamental reason why Solyndra went down. Is Solyndra would have been okay at $2 a watt, but not $1. And that's it. So and here's another thing, which is not getting enough press, which is how much money do you think the Chinese government's put into solar? Estimates are about 40 billion. Okay, so we've got our team with operating on a pittance. We've got China operating on 40 billion, and our team lost. That should be no surprise.
Do you worry that that's tarnished the view of by the American public of the solar industry in the United States?
You know, there's probably a little bit of tarnish, but you know, it's not, you know, it's unwarranted tarnish. Solar City now. The scenario that occurred with the cost per watt of solar was something that I expected would occur. So if somebody had asked me, do you think Solyndra is a good investment, I would have said, no, you're going to get your ass kicked. So Solar City works on balance of system, where they do everything except the panel. And they own the end customer relationship. They're kind of like Dell or Apple. You know, Dell or Apple don't make the CPU or the memory or the hard drives, but they design the overall system and they provide it to customers. They do the sales and marketing service, and that's what Solar City does. Solar City is doing super well, and they're growing at 50 to 100% a year with positive cash flow, which is pretty incredible. Yeah. I just show up at board meetings to hear the good news. It's really great. All credit to those guys. So, and then for them, the more rapacious the competition on solar panels, the better.
It helps you.
Yeah.